He runs the O Network. Ty Lopez, personal brand. He did a lot of internet stuff. Internet marketer. Zuckerberg, internet. Sees Candy. Sam Walton, he basically had a department store. Donald Trump, real estate. Clinton's, politics. So on this board, I name a bunch of, for the most part, millionaires and billionaires, and none of their industries are the same. There's not one person up here who's, not everybody here is real estate. Not everybody up here is tech. And not everybody up here is, department stores. Everybody's different. So what I want to let you guys know before I start my talk is that you can make money in anything, any industry. And I'm sure, name me some more billionaires and millionaires. Let me see some names up here, because you can make money in anything. Serena Williams, she's a millionaire off tennis. You know what I'm saying? Toilet paper, right? With that Procter and Gamble, billion dollar company, off anything. So what I want to preface my comments is say, don't for Mark Cuban, right? But he's kind of like Zuckerberg as far as like, tech and things like that. But don't fall for the trick that I have to be in a certain industry to make money, because that is a lie. Somebody's saying YouTube no sound. Can you kind of check that, video team? Okay, cool. All right, so don't fall for the trick that says, you have to be in one industry. But in order to make money, you do need two things, and that goes into my talk. You do need passion, and you do need some patience. So how to find your passion. This is kind of, I'm a younger guy, but this is a struggle for a lot of people. I think this kind of paralyzes people before they start. It's like, okay, I don't know what I'm passionate about. I don't want to take the direction of my dreams because I don't want to get, Ty says a lot. The worst thing you could do is get rich in the wrong thing, right? He talks about his friend who got rich and then blew the money. Or, he says his friend that wakes up every day because and he tells him that, he hates his life. But be passionate. How do you find your passion? Ty has the Eulerian destiny about how, look at what you grew up around, look at what other people tell you, and a whole bunch of things. But what I say, is everybody all right? Cool. So what I say, forget all that. Eulerian destiny is great. That's cool. But let's be simple. Just two things you need to find your passion is be self-aware and experiment. So I actually wanted to get into real estate before I worked here. So what did I do? I ran an experiment. I said, I'm going to go on Craigslist, and I'm going to find somebody who does real estate, and I'm going to work for them for a week for free. Swear to God. I went to Craigslist.com. I was in New York at the time. I found a guy. He does real estate, realtor. I'm like, I'll come work for you for free. I'll do all your paperwork. I'll do your stuff. I'll come, visit the houses for you. I said, cool. So I went up for an interview. He liked me. Said, cool, start Monday and we'll go. And this was in Manhattan. So I'm walking around all around Manhattan. I'm going into apartment buildings. I'm knocking on doors. I'm talking to people. I'm going to houses. And, and after a week, I realized I'm kind of falling for the trap, right? My parents, cousins, people say real estate is the way to go. And I kind of believed it. But luckily for me, I ran an experiment. I didn't, spend $500 to get a real estate license first, which a lot of people are doing by going to school, right? A lot of people, they go to school, spend $200,000. You know what I'm saying? And then they get out and they realize, okay, this, that was stupid. So run an experiment first. So I ran the experiment. I realized after a week, okay, I don't want to be if I am going to go into real estate, I'm not going to be a realtor. I'm going to own real estate. But I really don't like it. And plus, I don't have a comparative advantage. My parents were never in real estate. I don't know how to I don't know the difference between a screw and a nail. You know what I'm saying? So this is probably not the industry for me. I'm not very passionate about it. I was just chasing money. And after a week of running an experiment, I realized, hey, I don't like this. But I had self-awareness, right? So I used an experiment to realize, okay, I don't like this, but then I had self-awareness, and I realized, okay, I'm sitting down for 3 to 4 hours a day. I'm watching Tai Lopez's videos. I'm watching Gary Vaynerchuk's videos. I'm reading books by Seth Godin. I'm reading books by Tim Ferriss. Oh, what do all these guys have in common? They're marketers. Oh, okay. And I've been doing this for about a year, so I probably am interested in marketing. Okay, so let me run another experiment. So go back to Craigslist.com. I look for videos on marketing consultant agencies. And then I go get an interview there. And I blew the guy out the water. He sat me down, Mike Sean, and he sat me down at Barnes & Nobles, and we talked for 3 hours about marketing. I promise you he did not interrupt me. I started telling him about, content and how, because I'm in the marketing department, how you want to do AdWords with this and use these keywords and target. And it was very apparent that marketing was the passion of mine. I sat and blew them away. So then I got a job, and then eventually I worked here in the marketing department. So run some experiments. If you're hesitant about what you want to do, if you have 3 or 4 things that you think you're good at, run an experiment in those 3 things, and then it kind of be obvious of what you're better at. A lot of people think they're good at a lot of things, but you're probably not. Don't fall for that trick. You're probably the best out of your friends, but in the greater screen of things, you're probably not that good at everything. So just pick one and go with it. Just pick one and go with it. Okay, so boom. And don't think that, okay, my passion is stupid, right? So I know Liz, I was watching the talk the other day about the OMG woman, which experiment during college years. Okay, so college I did a lot of different things. I'll talk about that later. But so the woman the other day, the Amazon lady, right? OMG. She was like, she's talking about OMG, how she makes $500,000 on Amazon. And think about it, right? I listened to some of her previous talks. One of her best products is Pop-Tarts, right? How crazy is that? One of her best products is Pop-Tarts. And I surf a lot of blogs and stuff. I'm in the marketing department, and there's people with big followings who play video games, right? Ty did a talk on his accelerator program with a guy named Willie Rex, right? He plays video games. I'm not into that shit, but he has 2 channels with over millions of subscribers. That's crazy. You can find blogs on Smurfs. You could find blogs on pretty much anything, like, freaking Hot Wheels. You can make money in anything. So don't feel like, okay, don't fall for the trap as far as, okay, I have to be in real estate, I have to be in tech, I have to be in this, I have to be in that. If you have passion in whatever you're doing, go for that, run some experiments, and go in that direction. Now, you also have to be patient. And why do I say you have to be patient? Because business is a hard thing. Business is not, okay, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna go and, write a couple blog posts, and then people are gonna come to my, my website organically, and I'm gonna make $1 million. No, there's a lot of hustle involved with business. And I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. His name is David. He was just telling me about how, he went through some struggles in life. I'm not gonna put all his stuff on blast, but he was just like how, he's having 6 classes in school. He can't go to the gym. He's having girl problems, things of that nature. And what I caution you guys is, don't fall for another trap. And the other trap is, you have to keep a balance, right? So Ty does a lot of training and stuff. He does a lot of training. He does a lot of working out. And although business and hustle and things of that nature, don't lose track of working out. Because you look at any business owner, right? They're working out, they're doing things like that. So do that. Make sure you do that. And let me get on track of this. Okay, so I'm gonna get really, really practical, right? Cool. All right. So let's say you find your passion, and let's say you know what you want to do. What are some things? And we're gonna talk about social media later. But what's pretty much a basic principle on how to grow your business? And one is called content marketing. I know the gentleman before me, he spoke a lot about building a personal brand and doing that nature. But content marketing and brand equity are probably the 2 biggest things you need to run a successful business. And what do I mean by brand equity? Brand equity kind of goes into the patience thing I was talking about. Now look at Tai Lopez, right? A lot of you guys who listen to Tai Lopez, you good? You want me to stand right here? Cool. Okay, cool. A lot of you guys who like Tai Lopez, it's not because Tai Lopez came in the middle of nowhere, started making YouTube videos, and just said, here in my garage, and next thing you know, you're watching his videos, you love his content. A lot of reason why you guys like Tai Lopez, and again, I went through the Accelerator program before I worked here. A lot of the reason why I like Tai Lopez is because Tai Lopez is a practitioner, right? He's a practitioner. He does what you want to do. Tai Lopez has built businesses before. He consults multi-million-dollar companies. He built a personal brand. how many of you would want to listen to somebody who hasn't done the thing that you want to do? Oh yeah, no. We'll get into the product, but you want to have passion in the industry, right? You want to have passion in the industry, right? So let's say I love health. Boom, I love health. Now there's a lot of different things you could do in the health and wellness industry, and this goes to the person who said you shouldn't. You want to have passion in the industry because you could go so many different ways with the product, right? You can have, you could sell supplements, right? You could sell workout plans. You can sell athletic apparel. You can sell your service, right? You can sell your time and work people out. So, but if you have a general interest in health, right, then you'll eventually find a product that serves you well. But you want to have patience, you want to have passion in health, because once you have passion in health, it'll give you the patience to find which industry you want. So like, let's say you're not passionate about something, right? Once you find the first product, supplements, and it doesn't go well, you're going to give up because you don't have the passion to take you, to give you that time and that patience, right? Passion equals patience, right? And think about this, right? Look, how many of you have boyfriends or girlfriends, right? Right? You're very passionate about the woman, right? So when she goes and she blows up your phone and she calls you 5 times because you haven't responded to her, or you're coming home late, or, she's bickering because it's that time of the month, whatever. You're very passionate for her. So you're going to have patience to get through the tough times, right? You're going to have arguments here and there. But once you're passionate about someone or something, it gives you the patience to persevere through the obstacles that's inevitable in business. So passion is the number one importance. And there's too many people out there that's doing shit that they hate. There's too many people that's doing. Before I came here, man, I rarely met somebody who did something that they loved. There was a person, I dated one girl, and like her mom went through a couple things, and working for this lawyer and this doctor, and you could just tell she wasn't very passionate about it. She was just doing things to support her family and things of that nature. But, man, there's too many people doing shit that they hate, and you can make just as little money doing something that you love, right? So follow your passion, man. Follow your passion. Because if I had two choices between $35,000 a year or $50,000 a year, I'd pick my passion the whole day. And, there's a lot of people running businesses and running experiments and starting companies about, the trick, right? Real estate, tech. A lot of people are spending thousands, if not millions of dollars on the next Facebook or the next this or the next that. So they're chasing money, but spend that money on something that you're passionate about, because once you're passionate, it'll give you patience. And the patience is what it's going to take to be successful, right? So get back to what I'm saying. Tai Lopez, right? So what did Tai Lopez do, right? He forewent college. So he didn't go to college. He stayed at the Amish, right, for 2.5 years. Then he came home. He had the internship, right, where he was cold calling. Then he worked at, GE. Then he created his own financial services, right? Then he did the nightclubs. And the list goes on and on and on and on. And it's obvious Tai is not 21 years old, right? So Tai didn't, burst on the scene until 2014, 2015. Right? And the amount of time he did all this stuff was over a decade, over 10 plus years. He was doing that stuff, right? How many of you people heard the 10,000 hour rule, right? And a lot of you people, and to a degree myself included, right? I'm on a talk. I'm only 20-something years old. A lot of people want to burst on the scene and be a life coach, or be the fitness expert, or be the financial expert, and you're 20-something years old, or you haven't been in the industry long enough, right? So Tai Amish 2.5 years, right? And then he spent all his money traveling to find mentors. Then he had an internship. Then he worked at GE for a couple years. Then he did the financial thing for a couple years. Then he did the nightclub. He built up his brand. First of all, he built up his competence. Right? He did a lot of experiments, right? He went to the Amish, found out he didn't like farming, traveled the world. Okay, cool. He interned for a guy doing financial services. He liked that a little bit. He worked at GE. Then he opened up his own financial thing. But he's like, okay. Then he pivoted. He did nightclubs. Then he pivoted, did social media stuff. And now he's a personal brand, right? So Ty himself also ran experiments, right? So Ty ran experiments, but then he was patient with it, right? Ty didn't start getting advice until 15, 20 years after. Okay, cool. We'll be right back. We'll be right back. Okay, cool. How you guys doing up there? Okay, cool. Yeah, where you guys from, man? Let me see. Is anybody refresh the page? I don't think so. So, yeah. New York is. We just resetting Meerkat and Periscope. Cool. Oh, Facebook. What happened to Meerkat? Not today. Oh, poor Meerkat. YouTube was where it's at. Oh man, where you guys from? Just give us 1 second. We're resetting Periscope and Facebook, and then we'll be back. I don't want to lose the guys. Okay. We'll be back in 1 second here. Let me use my Snapchat. Snapchat this. We're back on. Let's go. Meerkat, Periscope, Facebook. What's up, man? What's up, Jason? How you doing? Cool. And that's Facebook to the left. Ty. Where's Ty? Cheers. Yo, what's good? Hey, Ty. Grandma. Hey, London. Hey, where's everybody from? Somebody with 1 million customers. Jay Cobb. Finally got on early. Hey, what's up? What's your Snapchat? I'll tell you at the end. New York City. How old are you? Brooklyn, where you at? I'm from Staten Island. Shout out Bay Ridge. Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, St. Louis, Chicago. You're not Ty. You spelled his name wrong. South Carolina, Slovenia. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, Alejandro? Ben, what's up? How young are you? Well, okay, all right. So I'm not sure how many of you guys were from, before we got interrupted. We had to kind of reset Facebook, reset Periscope. But what are we talking about here? We're talking about marketing and what you need to be a successful marketer, successful business owner. And the title of my talk is the 2 P's, the only 2 things you really need in marketing. Well, I mean, the 2 higher things that you need to be a successful marketer, successful business owner. And the 2 P's are passion and patience. Right? I was talking about if you're passionate about a specific industry, if you're passionate about health or, real estate or, selling on Amazon or, being a merchant, whatever you're passionate about, passion will give you the patience to persevere through the hardships of being a business owner, right? I'm reading a book from Sam Walton, Made in America, and he's talking about how, after his 5-year contract was up, he had the damn building removed from him, right? The guy wouldn't sell him back the lease because he didn't have to do it. But he had such a passion around department stores and being a merchant that he persevered, right? A lot of people give up in business. A lot of people don't even start because they don't have the passion to wake them up in the morning, right? A lot of people deal with procrastination. How many of you deal with procrastination up here? How many people, they can't get up and go to the gym, they can't read the book, they can't start their business? Okay, me. Yes. Okay, cool. And I'll tell you one secret about procrastination. I'll tell you from hands-on experience. The only time I procrastinate in anything in life is when I really don't want to do it, right? I remember in school, I'd have, 8 a.m. class. I used to be late to that class all the time because I really didn't want to go. It wasn't a subject I was passionate about. There's been times where I tell you what, I work out 5 o'clock every morning. I get up for that because I'm passionate about my health. I'm passionate about looking good. But you had me get up for a freaking algebra class 8 a.m. or a history class on post-world, Germany. I'm probably not going to get up. So that's the secret about procrastination. You're probably never going to do something you don't want to do. So the trick to, the trick to life, the trick to business, the trick to being good at anything is you have to find your passion, because your passion will give you the perseverance. Your passion will give you the energy to kind of go through any obstacle, right? So that's the number one thing, and I kind of talked about on the page before, right? I talked about the trick, right? I named Drake, Oprah, Ty Lopez, Mark Zuckerberg, C's Candy, Sam Walton, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton. What do all these people have in common? Pretty much, the fact that they're millionaires and billionaires, but pretty much nothing, right? Drake's a musician. Oprah, she was a talk show host. Ty Lopez is a personal brand. Mark Zuckerberg started one of the biggest tech companies in the world. C's Candy is a candy company. Sam Walton started Walmart. Donald Trump, real estate. Hillary Clinton, politics, right? There's no one industry that's going to give you the edge over anything. But Drake is a passionate musician. Oprah was passionate about her talk show, right? So they were passionate, but then they were also competent, right? So, what I told, the talk before we had the reset, I told, don't fall for the trick of saying, okay, I have to go into real estate, or I have to go into tech, or I have to go into this, or I have to go into that. Because you can make money in anything. Serena Williams making millions off tennis. Jordan, millions off basketball. Ty Lopez, millions off YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So you could do anything. There's bloggers out there who's making tremendous amount of money. So don't fall for the trick that you have to go into specific industry to make money. No, because if you're not passionate about the industry, you're probably not going to make any money, because you're not going to be able to get up in the morning. You're not going to be able to put in the work it takes to be successful. Okay. Oh, okay. Now the mic. Yeah, cool. All right, so that's the one thing. And then competence, right? Having patience. So once you find your passion, and, I told a few tricks on how to find your passion. One is to run an experiment. Cool. Yeah, I don't think Facebook could see me. If you could tilt that to the right, yeah, that's perfect. Cool. Right, so once you find your passion, right, and a few tricks to do that is to run some experiments. I told a story about how I wanted to go into real estate, but instead of, spending $500 on a real estate course, I just worked for a realtor for free, and I found out I hated it. And I saved myself $500. But there's so many people who want to become doctors, and they're spending $200,000 on a degree from Harvard, from Hunter College in New York, from, whatever medical school. And then once they're in it, because the first 2 years you have to take prerequisites, so you really don't know if you like your major until your junior year. So these people already spent $50,000 to $100,000, and they realize once they're in their major that they freaking hate it, and now they're $100,000 in the hole. So in order to find your passion, run some experiments. You good. Tell me some of your passions, guys. I'll tell you some experiments that you can run. I told you about the real estate one. I just worked for a realtor, right? Construction. You could go ahead and try to build some things. Smoothies, right? Smoothie. You work for a gym, right? If you're into like supplements, you want to kind of create your own health products. There's a lot of gyms that make smoothies. You go work for a gym, work behind the desk, make some smoothies. See if you like the atmosphere. See if you like doing that. Another way to find your passion is kind of just be self-aware. Okay, what are you doing every day? If you're reading certain type of books and you're watching certain type of YouTube videos, then maybe that's the industry you should go in, right? If you're sitting here and if you're playing video games and you're watching Willie Rex on YouTube, maybe you should blog about video games, right? If you love Hot Wheels and you still play with dolls and stuff, start a blog, start a blog on Smurfs. You could do whatever. So that's the thing. And then competence, right? And I kind of talked about how Ty was a practitioner, right? So he went to the Amish for 2.5 years. He did an internship where he was cold calling. He flew across the world to find mentors. He worked at GE. He started his own financial services company, nightclubs, right? So Ty didn't just come out after at 20 years old and start a YouTube channel where he's giving business advice. He didn't start selling the accelerator at 21 years old before he went and did things himself. So now we already talked about passion. Now let's talk about patience. A lot of people who are 20, 21, 22, 23 are trying to be experts, but if you ask them, okay, what have you done? They can't tell you one accomplishment that they have, right? How many of you listen to Elliot Holst on YouTube? Elliot Holst didn't create a YouTube channel talking about fitness until after he got a football scholarship to St. John's, after he won strongman competitions, after he did this, after he did that. Ty Lopez, he didn't start talking about business until he ran a couple businesses, right? Gary Vaynerchuk didn't start talking about business until after, he grew his family business from 5 to 50,000, after he started Wine Library TV, after he started, VaynerMedia. Be patient, right? And that's why I was talking about brand equity. So, brand equity. Why is brand equity so important? Right? Brand equity is important because that's the reason. I keep moving around too much for you guys?
Stay a little closer in, but you got it.
Okay, cool.
It all looks good.
Cool. I feel a little buzzed in. Cool.
You can move that table behind you if you want.
I might move this. Yeah. I might break it. Okay, so brand equity, right? Brand equity is the reason why people buy from you, right? Brand equity is the trust that somebody has. You're not gonna sit here and spend $9.97 for an accelerator if you don't trust Ty. You're not gonna buy somebody's book if you don't believe that they can offer you value. You're not gonna go to somebody's conference or somebody's retreat if you don't think they could do something for you, right? So brand equity. How do you develop brand equity? Experience. Right? So a lot of you people who want to build multi-billion-dollar, they're gonna push me into the pool. I know, right? All right. So how do you build brand equity, right? So a lot of people, you guys want to build multi-billion-dollar companies. You want to release a product. You want to compete with somebody in the industry, right? You start the next Under Armour or the next Quest bars, right? Get some experience, and that's what I was talking about. Experiments. A lot of people, especially this day and age, entrepreneurship is so sexy. Nobody wants to get a job in the industry that you want to compete in, right? I mean, a little bit young. And one day I had visions of, running my own marketing agency, doing things like that. I work for Ty. I get to see how Ty runs his marketing. I get to see how he goes about building a personal brand. I get to see about how he runs a company, right? Get a job in the industry that you want to compete in. Run some experiments. Volunteer. And, of course, get a mentor, right? Get some experience and the thing that you want to do before you do it, so when you do it, people will listen to you, right? So and now that's I don't necessarily want to compete with Ty, but yeah, where do you get your mentors? I'm having trouble finding mine. I mean, mentors, mentors you could ask family friends. You could go ahead on Craigslist. You could just walk into somebody. I'll tell you a perfect way how to find a mentor, right? So this is what I did when I was testing with real estate. I lived in Staten Island, New York, and I was like, okay, how do I find a real estate mentor? And each year in New York, they have a real estate conference where the best realtors get like kind of awarded. It's called something dinner or whatever. So I found out what the name of the dinner was called, right? So then I Googled the dinner, and they had results all the way dating back to like 1994 or whatever. So then I looked at the dinner each year for 15 years, and I counted up the person who went to the dinner the most times, and then I emailed that person saying, can you mentor me in real estate, right? Because I figured, okay, if this person was awarded 15 years straight, then they're pretty good at real estate. And Ty always says, get mentored from the top. So then I was like, okay, you obviously are good at what you do. Can you mentor me, right? So do some market research. You know, people, if you like somebody's content on YouTube, reach out to them. You know, people are so, Ty is a person just like me and you. You know, whoever you're looking up to is a person just like me and you. And a lot of times these guys who are where they are now have been helped out along the way, and they won't have a problem helping you out. So a lot of the obstacles is you already know who you want to be mentored by, and you already know who you want to teach you. Just go ahead and ask them. But I think the real estate thing was kind of a good idea, right? If there's any award for the industry that you're in, whether it's health or whatever, find out that ceremony and kind of go backtrack and count up who's been there a lot. Yeah, Nathan, you all right? Cool. You guys have trouble hearing me? How's everybody doing over here? Can you hear me good? Oh, man. Staten Island. If you can make it at Staten Island, you can make it anywhere. I hear you fine. Okay, thank you. Yeah, cool. And kind of guys, just if you want me to pivot on the talk, just let me know. I love doing kind of improv. I kind of got 2 more things I want to talk about, and I kind of take your questions. Okay, but experience, right? So experience is one thing, how you can build brand equity. And once you already get that experience, I know some of you guys are more advanced on this call. You've already have a job in the industry. You're already volunteering. You already have mentors. Then content is another way you build brand equity, right? So there's a lot of different business models, especially on the internet now. You have guys selling ebooks for, $100. You have guys giving you free consulting calls, and we'll talk about tripwires. That's called a tripwire, right? How many of you ever been to a website and they're like, okay, I'll give you this free ebook for your email, and then you give them an email, and then they're emailing you 3-4 days later, trying to sell you some more stuff. That's called a tripwire, right? And a tripwire is basically something that you're offering to a visitor of your website in order to get their email. And once you get their email, you can contact them, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Ty's tripwire is basically his book of the day emails, where he kind of summarizes the book and give you business advice in exchange for your email. That's our tripwire, and that's important because in the back end now we we can contact you, keep you up with our retreat that's coming up, keep you up to date with some of our new products that we're launching. So there's a little BA 101. If you guys don't have an email lists are extremely important, and a good way to get emails to your site if you don't already have them is give them tripwires, right? Give free content out, right? And why is content so important? Well, how many of you are struggling because you feel like, okay, why would somebody want to do business with me? Either you're young or you're new in the industry, and you feel like, okay, I'm actually in Ty's marketing department. I work with his brother. Ben has done a couple talks this week. I work in the marketing department. I kind of oversee Ty's social media. I oversee his AdWords campaigns. I oversee a lot of his stuff. The reason why you see a lot of his commercials on YouTube is I had kind of had that up. But yeah, how many of you guys are struggling because you feel like nobody's gonna listen to you because you're young, or because you're new in the industry, or why me, or this competitor has been in there for 15 years, nobody's gonna switch over? How many of you are struggling because of that? Cool. Yes, cool. So content is one way to build brand equity, right? And if you remember, brand equity is the reason why people buy from you. Ty has a lot of brand equity because he has a lot of experience. He has a lot of brand equity because he produces a lot of content, right? And what do you mean by content? That could be YouTube videos. That could be blog posts. That could be podcasts. That could be, being interviewed on Forbes magazine, right? That could be showing up on TV. Ty just got interviewed by LA TV station the other day, right? Content, right? And if you think about musicians, their contents are their songs. So content is anything that you're putting out that could be consumed by an audience. And why is content so important? Because in order to sell anything, and Ty says this all the time, you want to sell before the sell. So you always want to sell before the sale. And how many of you guys? I was walking down Santa Monica Boulevard the other day, right? And I stopped in I think it was called the Body Factory. I'm not sure if you guys heard of that. And I was just looking around. I was gonna buy some supplements, and I was like, "Hey, guy, I see some shakes. So can you tell me about the store? I work out across the street at 24 Hour Fitness, and I'm just stopping here to get some supplements." And he tells me about the supplements that he has on the shelf. But then before I walk out, he said, hey, what shake do you want? I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I'll just give you a free shake, whatever. I said, okay. I like peanut butter and jelly. Do you have a peanut butter and jelly shake? He said, yeah, of course. Made me a shake and gave it to me, and it was delicious. Guess what? I've been back there like 3 times to get a shake, right? So he sold before the sale, right? Chances are, if he didn't give me that shake, I probably wouldn't have known it was good or bad, and I probably wouldn't have spent my $10 testing it either, because I could easily go make a shake at home for much cheaper. But he gave me something for free. I liked it, so I came back, right? And you kind of see this all the time in like the financial industry where Ty works out. A lot of people say, okay, I'll give you a 30-minute consultation call for free. And then, they kind of offer you value. They tell you about things that you didn't know, and then you trust them, and then you do business with them, right? And the same thing when you go to TyLopez.com. You sign up for our email list. We tell you things about business that you didn't necessarily think about. So, okay, Ty knows his stuff. So when we offer you an accelerator or a retreat, you kind of go. So that's why content is important, because it's 2016, guys. There's millions of blogs. There's millions of websites. There's millions of social media accounts. There's a lot of people competing against each other, and nobody's really going to buy from you unless you show them what you got before you ask for the sale, right? You always want to show them what you got before you ask for the sale, and how you do that, you create content. YouTube, blog posts, podcasts, interviews, TV, right? And look at this. Ty does every single one of those, right? And that even include Meerkat, Facebook, right? This right here is content, offering you value, right? Remember Tripwire, and that's why Tripwires are important, because let's say I give you a free ebook and the ebook helps you. Now when I offer you a product, you're gonna want to buy, right? And a cool thing to do, and if you guys aren't doing this, I would definitely recommend you guys, a lot of people who are new in the industry and are just trying to break into it, if you guys run Facebook campaigns or AdWords campaigns onto an educational video or educational blog post or an educational piece of content instead of asking for a buy, right? How many do that, right? Try to spend some money just to educate people, right? And then get them in your funnel that way. So a lot of people, we talk about automating businesses, and right? I know that was kind of the talk before this was automated. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Automation definitely does not come at day one. And you need to get that out your head as soon as possible. Automation of a business does not come at day one. You're going to have to spend some money first before you get any type of automation. And like me, I have some things I'm doing on the side, some health things I'm starting to do. And I'm spending a lot of money doing experiments, right? I'm spending money on email hosting site. I'm spending money on books to get the knowledge. I'm spending money on hosting things, web hosting server. I'm spending money on domains, right? So in the beginning, you're going to have to put money out to get the experience that we talked about, right? What do you say? Gary, where is Ty? So you're going to have to kind of put the money out to get the experience. And I know Ty talks a lot about books, but if you think that you could buy, a couple books from Barnes & Nobles or Amazon, and that's going to prevent you from having any bumps in the road in the future, then you're absolutely positively wrong. Books are great and give you direction. Books are great and cutting the learning curve. But books is not going to prevent you from having hiccups or prevent you from messing up in the future, right? It's like if I were to read a book about taxes, do you think I could go file 50,000 people? Nah, I'll probably know a lot more than I did before, and I'll probably prevent a lot of mistakes. But I'm still going to have bumps in the road and errors along the way, right? So reading books and stuff like that is cool, but you also want to experiment, and experimenting is going to cost you money, and especially in the beginning. All right, but okay, so you produce your content, you provide value, but then you also need a way of capturing that value, right? And a lot of people, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but a lot of people making these YouTube videos, they're producing these content, but they have no way of capturing the value. And what does that mean, right? If you're putting out a lot of value, you spend a lot of time, a lot of money, right? putting out things, getting the message in front of you, and you don't have no way of capturing the value, you're going to be out of business. And it kind of makes no sense. A lot of people get confused that, okay, this is the internet industry. You know, you put information out. Why should you have to pay for it? Well, people have to pay to get the message in front of you, right? And that's the same thing you're going to have to do. You're going to have to pay to get the message in front of people, whether that's running Facebook ads to educational posts or, you know, making YouTube display campaigns or running AdWords. You have to put money out. And that's kind of the first route of automation. Put money out in the beginning, experiment, see what works. And then eventually you'll find out what works, right? A lot of people ask, okay, you know, I'm starting this business. Should I do Twitter? Should I do Facebook? Should I do Instagram? Should I do whatever? Do all of them. If you're early on in the business, do all of them. See what sticks, right? And then double down in it. See what your competitors are doing. Whether if you're in the health industry and somebody's on, you know, your biggest competitor is on Facebook, or if you're in the financial B2P business, and I can tell you right now, most of those people are on LinkedIn. You should probably be on LinkedIn, right? So spend money, run some experiments, do some market research, and then you'll find out where you should be. But a lot of this takes work, right? And that goes all the way back to the beginning. If you don't have passion on what you're doing, there's no way you're going to, if you don't have passion in what you're doing, there's no way you're going to spend thousands of dollars running, you know, ads or reading books. You're not going to spend 5 hours reading a book you're not passionate about. And if you know what I'm saying? And if you're not passionate about it, you're not going to make blog posts. You're not going to create YouTube videos. You're not going to tweet. You're not going to do Instagram pictures. So the first thing for you guys, find out your passion. Run some experiments. Right? Be self-aware. Ask other people what you're good at. Another way to find a passion, ask other people what you're good at. You know, make your 5 closest, 10 closest friends, family members, not so much family members because family members will lie to you. They don't want to hurt your feelings. But your 5 closest friends. Make them feel comfortable. Say, hey, you know, what am I good at? What am I not good at? And then you'll start to see patterns. 5 people said, yo, you're a great talker. You're a great presenter. You should probably do something in the entertainment industry. Another friend, you know, says, okay. Another person, their friend say, you know, if I were to go out with on a double date, you're the person I wouldn't bring because you're awkward in person. Well, you should probably do a little bit more introverted things, you know, be behind the computer, right? So be self-aware, run some experiments, and then you'll find out what you're good at. And what you're good at, you're probably passionate about it because who doesn't like being good at something? Then, once you find your passion, then you can start doing some of this stuff like Twitter campaigns, producing content, because that's where you need the patience, because it's not easy running a business, right? Do you think it's fun for Ty to have to, you know, respond back, right? I mean, we have 24-hour customer support, and there's managers, and Ty has to look over these, you know, some of my coworkers, and a lot of people complain. A lot of people call up and say, okay, I didn't know about this, or can I get this, or I don't have enough money to get this product. Can you give me a deal, right? Sometimes it's not fun dealing with that stuff, but if you're passionate and you believe in what you're doing, you can kind of get through some of those turmoils, right? So cool. All right, so then we talked about content, right? Let me flip the page. All right, so content, we kind of covered that. Content is something that you need. Tripwires. Now, social media is kind of beginning a lot of the importance, a lot of the buzz lately, as far as, you know, you need a Facebook page. Facebook page is like the new business cards of 2016, right? You need Facebook, you need Instagram, you need Twitter, things of that nature, but you need a good tripwire, right? Why should somebody do with this? So a good tripwire could be an ebook, right? It could be audio, right? What are you going to summaries of stuff? Exclusive content that people are not going to get on YouTube or elsewhere. Why should somebody give you their email address? Now, social media is cool and important. YouTube, that's cool and important. But if you have somebody's contact, if you have somebody's email address, that is the most important thing, because you could contact them whenever you want. So, yes, you want to produce content, right? Because content is what's going to get people to your site. So let's be real practical here, right? So if I make YouTube videos and I'm, Twitter, A lot of you guys are on Twitter. You're just tweeting. Look at Ty's Twitter. Look at Gary's Twitter. They're responding, right? Ty's going out. He's responding to people. Gary's responding to people. Especially when Ty was growing his Twitter account, he was responding to people. He was hitting up people, right? So a lot of you guys are just producing you're just putting your content, your YouTube links, your Instagram links on Twitter. No, listen to people. Join the conversation on Twitter, Instagram, right? So use your social media, Facebook. So use your social media sites to put out content, put free stuff on here, put stuff that's going to offer people value, educate them, fun, right? So what's some stuff you should put on educational stuff should be on social media, right? Stuff that's new or novel. What else should you put on social media? Stuff that's funny, right? You see Ty putting up memes and stuff, right? He's putting up memes and stuff so people can tag their friends in it, and then their friends come and follow Ty, right? So you want educational stuff because that provides the most value. You want stuff that's new, whether that's breaking news or just new developments or what have you. Stuff that's new that people haven't heard before and stuff that's funny. These are kind of the three things that you want in your social media, right? You put that in your social media, and then this will drive traffic to your website. Right, so this is what we do at TyLopez.com, right? Ty posts up, memes. He posts up his educational videos, right, about, how to improve your business, how to improve your life. And then he'll just put up some new stuff, whether it's new news on the Grammys, right? Ty was, posting at the Grammys about Kendrick Lamar and Taylor Swift, right? People want to follow that stuff. So these three elements is what you should have in your social media campaign. And also have personality. Man, this is what's going to separate you from everybody, right? How many meme sites or how many meme profiles are there? How many Twitter people post on Twitter? What's going to set you apart is personality, right? So these are the three elements you should have, but always put personality in your captions, put personalities in everything that you do, because that's going to kind of separate you from the rest, right? So these are the three elements that you want in your social media campaign, right? You want to always provide value. Free stuff on YouTube, free stuff on Twitter, free stuff on Instagram, free stuff on Facebook. Then people who follow you a lot is going to be like, okay, they'll watch one YouTube video. They're probably not going to come to your website. They watch through. After like 10, then they read some, then they'll follow you on Twitter, right? They see some tweets, then they'll follow you on Instagram, right? And then eventually all these people are following you, Snapchat, right? Eventually all these people are following you on these social medias, and you're giving them free stuff on social media. And then you're also reaching out to people. That's the thing. That's the one thing that people forget the most. Instead of always posting stuff, you want to do that. You want to put your content. But you also want to reach out to people and comment on their stuff, right? Because once you comment their stuff, they'll come and comment on yours. And then you can kind of scale up that way, right? So for a lot of you people who don't have that much following on your social media, that's kind of a hack you could do is kind of, Twitter search, Instagram, right? Instagram has the hashtags. Look that up. Facebook, you could join, groups and kind of communities and give your value there. You want to be part of your community. Whether you're in the health, whatever, you want to kind of be in the community. Know what your customers are saying. So social media, offer content, join your community, listen to what other people are saying, and then eventually you'll have traffic to your website, right? And then once people get to your website, that's when you want to kind of do the tripwires. And what are tripwires? That's what you're going to offer to people in exchange for their emails. And that could be an ebook, that could be an audio, that could be a summary, right? So I can tell you right now, Tony Robbins, he does ebooks, he does audios. Ty Lopez, Gary Vaynerchuk, they do exclusive content, right? He'll give you book of the day summaries. Gary will give you some exclusive content about people who's read his book and what they're doing. You have people that offer, book summaries and things of that nature. Be creative on why people should give you their personal email in exchange for something, right? So be creative on what you're going to give to get an email, right? So you could do, these are 4 options. These are kind of the biggest options you could do, right? Now, once you have somebody's email address, what do you do from here? Provide more value, right? Provide more value, right? And why? Brand equity. Because the only way you're going to sell something is if people really believe in you. So you don't want to act too soon, right? We have autoresponders campaigns in our business where, we have series of emails where we're just providing, value. and then ask. Ty says it's probably a 10-to-1 ratio. You should probably provide 10 times the value before you ask for a single thing. Right? How you doing over there, Periscope? Let me know if you have any questions. Right? So, value. Whether that's on your social media, whether that's on your email address, whether that's on your website, whether that's blog posts, offer value. Now we could begin to talk about monetization. Right? Now this is when you monetize. Right? After you have experience. Right? So you've worked at a job. Right? You have mentors to teach you things. You have, volunteered places. Right? So you gather that experience. Now after you gather experience, you produce content on it, right? So different ways you could produce content is you could read books and kind of regurgitate them in your own way. You could read and then regurgitate. You could kind of create vlogs. You could blog. Then you could create YouTube videos. And then if you're fortunate enough as Ty is, you can have a film team and you could create movies, right? Like short, 5-minute inspirational videos, movies, 5-minute inspirational videos. And I was kind of doing some research the other day, and I one thing I realized about any industry, whether it's real estate or health or tech or anything, whenever there's a personal brand, there's always some type of element in motivation. You want to be successful in marketing, right? Don't just tell people what foods they should eat. Don't just tell, people what tech things they should invest in or what tech things they should be up to date on. Don't just tell people the brutal facts. Don't just tell people the kind of in the grind, do this if you want this. Kind of motivate people. If you add a twinkle of motivation, a twinkle of inspiration in your content, then that's going to make all the difference. How we doing over here? You good? Cool. So add a twinkle of motivation in everything that you do, right? So don't just tell people, okay, you need to have a salad for lunch and, you should drink 5 drinks of, water to 5 ounces or glasses of water for every meal. Don't just tell people. That's boring. Don't be boring in your marketing. Add some motivation. Tell them a story. Tell them what they're going to get. Tell them how they're going to be after you do what you're telling them to do, right? So how does Ty do this? Instead of Ty saying, okay, build the business, read books, right? Ty doesn't just tell you, okay, read this book, read that book, and then all of a sudden, you're going to be, knowledgeable. He gives you a story behind it. He tells you about how he went from $47 in his bank account, and then he lives here, right? He's never going to promise that you're going to do it, but he's motivating you to say, okay, if you want to be where I am, then read books, right? So storytelling. And this is really the differentiator in business. Whoever tells the best stories will win. Whoever tells the best stories will win, without a doubt. If you can tell a story about why you want somebody to take an action, then you'll win. So do you need to build a team to get started if I don't have the skills? If you don't have the skills, then you're in the experience phase, right? So there's 3 phases to this. I'm kind of dumb, but yeah, we're going to get a new board. All right, so you said you don't have the skills, so you build the team. Now, you always want to build a team eventually because that's how you automate, right? If you're doing everything yourself, it's pretty much impossible. But you want to do it in order, right? So the first thing you want to do is you want to get experience and competence, right? I'm going to kind of start taking questions and doing a little Q&A a little bit. Experience and competence, right? So if you don't have any skills in anything, you don't know what you want to do, you have to first find your passion, right? So this is what you want to do. You want to find your passion. Now, how do you find your passion? Experiment, right? Do a whole bunch of things. If you don't know what you want to do, I really seriously caution you from going to school, because the last thing you want to do is run an experiment. Ty runs a lot of experiments, but he doesn't run $200,000 experiments. I'll tell you that. He'll run a $50 experiment. He'll run a $500 experiment. He doesn't run $200 in tuition experiment just to realize you don't want to do it. That's one thing I tell you he does not do, right? So run an experiment. Do a lot of things, right? Write a list, right? If you're not sure what you want to do, write a list of things that you might be interested in. For me, it was real estate, right? For me, it was marketing. For me, it was, personal training, right? So I wrote a list of things I wanted to do, and I started knocking out experiments, right? I volunteered for a real estate person. I realized, okay, this was off the list. I hate that. Personal training, I really don't have the patience to work somebody out. I tried it. I worked people that it wasn't for me. Marketing. And now I'm working with Ty Lopez, right? So write a list of things that you want to do and then run experiments about it. Then, once you run experiments about things that you're passionate about, then that's when you get the experience, right? So 1 actually is passion, right? Find your passion. And then 2 is get experience. Now, how do you get experience? Easy. Get a job. I'm telling you, this is one of the most underrated things in entrepreneurship, getting a job for your competitor, right? What does Ty Lopez talk about? It's a little bit different scenario, but Ty Lopez always talks about how Sam Walton went to all the competitors to figure out what they were doing so he could implement it in his store. Now, fortunate enough for Sam Walton, he had a wife whose father was rich, so he can borrow $30,000 to start his own company. For a lot of you, it's pretty impractical. It's not very practical for you to start a store and then experiment and then, kind of learn from other people. A lot of you people are starting from nothing like I had. I was born in the project. I had no money. You know what I mean? So how am I going to run a store and learn that way? No, I had to get a job, right? So get a job in the industry that you want to be in. And again, this is how you go from not knowing what you want to do to kind of knowing what you want to do. Passion, right? Experiment. Boom. Or you can ask people what they think you're good at. And then you can also pay attention to what you're most interested in, right? So if you're watching things and if you pretty much know, right? If you're doing the same thing every day, if you're watching certain type of YouTube videos, if you're reading certain type of books, then you're probably like that, right? So that's the 3 ways I find your passion. Is experiment, ask people around you what they think you're good at, and pay attention to what you do on an everyday basis. Pay attention, right? So if you're always helping little kids, then you should probably go into some type of social work. Or if you're always reading about construction and how to build something, if you're always building something around the house, always fixing something, you should probably be in real estate or construction. If you're always reading books by Seth Godin and watching YouTube videos on marketing, then you should probably be in that industry, right? So pay attention to what you want to do, experiment, and ask people around. That's how you find your passion. Then you get experience, you get a job in the industry you want to work in. That's one way. You could, 2, find a mentor, right? I'm never going to work for anybody. If you're one of those, then find a mentor. Find a mentor, and, but at the end of the day, I'm telling you, at the end of the day, you're going to eventually have to work for somebody. If you don't inherit a family business, if you're not sure what you want to do, you're gonna have to work for somebody. So entrepreneurs, get that in your head that at first you're probably gonna have to work for somebody. Be patient. Don't try to come out the gate hitting home runs. Very few people are gonna be like Mark Zuckerberg. Very few people are gonna be like Kevin Systrom. Very few people are gonna be like Mark Cuban. And even Mark Cuban had jobs, right? So be patient. I get it. I get it. Entrepreneurs. I have a lot of entrepreneur friends. I work for an entrepreneur himself. Even Ty had jobs. So let's cut that out. Get a job in the industry, right? Learn it. Sam Walton worked at J.C. Penney's, and he built the best business. Don't be too cynical about jobs, right? What has Ty said, right? Ty had a YouTube video that came out. He says that you should over-deliver on everything that you do, right? So get a job. learn the industry, over deliver, and then leave, and then go raise your money and start your own shit. But when you're first starting out, if you're 20, 30, and you're pivoting, get a job in the industry, learn on somebody else's dime, right? Have somebody else pay you to learn, get the experience, over deliver, and then go start your own thing. That's one option. Second option, find a mentor, right? Ty Lopez, find a mentor. Mike Steinbeck, right? Got a newspaper, saw this guy's ad, walked in cold turkey and said, I want to work for you for free. Start answering phone calls. Find a mentor. Somebody asks how you can do that. You could look at award dinners. I know a lot of industries have awards that they give out. Look who's gotten awarded the most in the last decade. Phone book is kind of outdated, but go on YouTube. Find people's content that you like. Read people's books that you like. Maybe some of your friends, some of your family members know somebody who's doing something that you want to do. Be creative, man. A lot of people put in the work. It's not that hard to do, to run these experiments, to find a mentor. I found a mentor on freaking Craigslist. I dropped out of school and I found a freaking mentor by looking at awards for real estate. Don't be so helpless in what you want to do, right? So get a job, find a mentor. What's another way you can get experience? Let's see you guys on Periscope. Let's get you involved here. What's one way, if you were to find a mentor, what would you do? Okay, I'll try to write bigger. How long did it take you to go work for Ty after you found your interest in marketing? So once I did my experiment, I found out I want to do marketing. I either wanted to work for Ty and somebody else, but I was like, okay, I might not get the opportunity to work for Ty because I'm a college dropout. So I'm going to go apply for a marketing job and build up my resume so one day I can work for Ty, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to drop out. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't too optimistic. I wasn't too delusional about working for Ty. I realized, okay, I'm a college dropout. I have no marketing experience, so Ty's probably not going to hire me. So I'm going to get a resume in marketing, right? So as soon as I found out that real estate wasn't for me and personal training wasn't for me, I went all in marketing. Then I found a job on Craigslist. And then that's why I said I had an interview, right? So I got a job on Craigslist. I worked for a guy. He said he's going to give me, he said he's going to run an experiment. He said he's going to give me $2,000 for 2 months of work, right? So then I bought the accelerator. I was like, okay, if you're going to give me $2,000 in the next 2 months, I'm going to buy the accelerator and I'm going to do everything that Ty tells me to do, and I'm going to use it for your business. So I got credit cards. I put the accelerator on credit cards. True story. I swear to God. I put the accelerator on credit cards, and I bought some of the program. And, Terry, who's been on the call a couple days ago, I kind of developed a relationship with Terry. So at the end of the call, when I bought the accelerator, I was like, hey, Terry, I see you guys are hiring. Can you kind of, slip my resume to HR? And he did, and then I got hired. So as soon as I found out, and this is a little bit crazy, but as soon as I found out my passion for marketing, I ended up working for Ty. All because I took action. Now, I'm not going to promise you that that's going to happen for you, but had I not worked here, I would have just been taking marketing jobs, right? I picked, and then I went. A lot of you guys are hesitating. You guys, I'm good at this, I'm good at that, and you kind of get blinded, paralysis by analysis. Pick one thing, right? It's going to take you a few months. It's going to take you months of experimenting, a couple weeks. But once you pick one thing, go with it, because you're going to get paralyzed. You're going to get paralyzed, right? When Ty did his thing, right, he spent so many years in finance. He doesn't do anything finance related now. He does a little bit of stuff. I'm not going to get too much into his business, but he picked one thing with finance, and he went in it for like 7 years. Then he went to nightclubs. He did nightclubs for a few years, right? Pick one thing, go with it. Don't try to juggle too much. Ty always says the guy who chases 2 rabbits end up with none. So run some experiments, find out what you like, and then go. So back to passion, experience, job industry. Find a mentor, right? Read books, right? So this is a cool story from Sam Walton. Sam Walton, after he worked for JCPenney's, he realized that merchandise and department stores is where he wanted to go. So before he bought, he started out in franchising before he started Walmart. He didn't just start Walmart. He started buying, franchise department stores. Before he did that, he read every book he could find on how to run a department store. Read books. Buy courses. Right? A lot of people, I mean, the talk before was about automating your business. But before you get to the place on automating your business, you're going to have to spend money to get there. Right? Just like before you get ripped and you have muscles, you're going to have to put in the work to get there. A lot of people are focusing on the end goal without putting in the work to get there. A lot of people want to be Ty, but they don't realize that Ty, when he was building this business and other business, he was spending all night working on software to build, right? I was talking to some of his dev team, and they was telling me that he used to be up all night working, overseeing how, he was the software that was being built that runs our company. He was overseeing a bunch of things. A lot of people want to get to the end goal without putting in the work to get there. And I just caution you, I just really invite you to kind of be a little bit more patient. Once you find your passion, be a little bit more patient. Get a job, get a mentor, read books, buy courses. And then once you do all that, then you'll have the experience. And then once you do that, once you have the confidence and once you have the experience, then you can begin experimenting and testing, right? And that goes to the KSE formula. So the K part of Ty's KSE formula is he first found your passion, first, get the knowledge, get the experience, right? Then you start executing and start experimenting yourself. Right? So after you work the job in the health industry for a couple years, after you find a mentor, after you read all the books that you can on whatever you want to do, then you have the right to start your business. Right? Ty did not start his own business until after he was in the Amish, until after he flew across the world to find mentors, until after he worked with Mike Steinbeck, until after he worked with GE. Right? That's 4 things over the course of a decade before he ran his own business. Get your knowledge up first. And then once you do that, once you have the confidence, then you have the right to start telling people to do this. Then you have the right to start offering products. Right? Because nobody's going to want to buy from somebody who hasn't done the thing that they're preaching. Right? If I'm not in Ty's marketing department, you think you're going to listen to me about social media? No. Be patient. Then once you do all this, then you start running your experiments, right? Then you start producing content, right? Then you start strategizing. So you have all the experience, you found your passion, you have that, then you start strategizing, right? Okay, what platforms am I going to be on? Am I going to be on Twitter? Am I going to be on Instagram? Am I going to be on Facebook? You start strategizing. Okay, I want to be on this platform. I'm going to produce this content. This is my schedule. I'm going to do every Monday. I'm going to do, every Monday I'm on YouTube. Every week, no matter what, I'm going to produce a video. I'm going to work this amount of days. Do. Create your strategy, and then you execute. Right? So let's get a little bit more practical. What's some ways you can grow your business? What's some ways you could grow your Twitter? Right? So Twitter. Listen on that platform. And let me start actually take some questions. You recommend a teen to go to college and play it safe while experimenting, or just focus my time? Okay, so difficulty, okay. Health industry and teen in college, right? So let me answer these 2 questions. So if you're a teen right now, I think right now you should focus on your passion. And if I was you, if I was a teenager, if I could go back and I could do it again, and luckily for me, I found out pretty young what I want to do. And that's half the battle, figuring out what you want to do young. I'm actually going to take more questions. I like doing this improv. So for you, what I would do is I would focus on finding my passion, right? I would do a complete audit of myself. And a lot of you guys need to do this. You need to audit yourself. Okay, so, let's say you're 16, whatever, how old are you? You said you're probably going to go to college, so you're probably 16, 17. I'd make my friends feel comfortable for about a week or 2. I start throwing in the ears, hey, guy, what do you think? What do you think I'm good at? Or, start bringing the conversation up. And in about a week, ask them, straight up, sit down, look them in the eye, and tell them, ask them, what do you think I'm good at? What do you think I'm good at? And this is what I did to my friend. I said, what's one thing that you would seek my advice in? And what's another thing you would never ask my advice in, right? And then people start telling you what you're good at, Start writing it down, right? This person said I'm good at this. This person said I'm good at this. I'm good at this. Cool. Right? So other people. And then After that, you start auditing yourself. Okay, what do I like? So what do other people say about me, and what do I like? And then after you got other people say about you, what do I like? And then what am I good at? All right. So this is kind of like what other people say you're good at. What other people say you're good at, and what do you like? And then start running experiments, right? You're young, so a lot of people are gonna want to give you a shot. So a lot of people say that you're good at. I'm not even sure, but just going at it, right? Go get a job. Try to get a job. If a lot of people say you can sell, right? And this is the thing, right? A lot of people talk down on MLMs. That's cool, and I get why, and I understand it. But man, MLMs is probably the best way for a young teenager to practice selling. Now, if you're gonna think that you're gonna be a billionaire or trillionaire off Amway or whatever, then good luck to you. Some people do it, most people don't. But if you want a way of practice selling by having a system that's already in place for you, do MLMs, right? If you're a young teenager and everybody says you have a slick mouth and you could sell, water to a whale, do an MLM, see how good you are selling. Get on the floor of some, merchandising company, get some commission, do something commission based to see how good you're selling. If people say you're good at computers, run some experiments. So find out what other people say about you, find out what you like, and then run some experiments. And then that's what you would do if you're a teenager. Now the other person acts in the health industry. They have a trouble building up their social media following in the health industry. That's easy. One thing I would do if I was you is I would ask you, okay, how knowledgeable you are in the health industry. I would begin to read more books in it, and I would put out more content. So order the top 5 magazines. Read every day, hour or 2 every day. Start highlighting the articles that are best. And create videos, right? Do a little, tie the selfie videos and start regurgitating those articles in a different way and put them on YouTube. Start writing blog. I think this has to be reset. I'm not sure. I think it paused because of the low battery. Okay, good. Yeah, yeah, and then I had to resume it. So it should be good now. So health industry, right? Be more knowledgeable, put out more content. You're probably just not putting out enough content, right? So a lot of people are not going to follow you on Instagram or on Twitter or on Facebook if they're not getting value from you. So if you're posting once a month, people are probably not going to follow you because you're not, what's that old saying, out of sight, out of mind, right? So produce more content. You see Ty on Instagram, he posts 3 to 4 to 5 pictures a day, videos a day. He's staying in the mind of his viewers. So I would say create more content. But also, don't be naive. Don't think that people are going to come to your social media site because you're creating content. Go and be a part of the community. Go comment on other people's things. Go search the hashtag, right? If you're in health, if you're in fitness, type #fitness. Watch other people's videos. Watch other people's Instagram posts. Go comment on this. Go on Twitter. People talking about the expo that's coming up. #expo and go. You're going to the expo too. Oh, how are you getting there? Right? Start conversations. Be a part of your community. I think the reason why you're struggling to grow a social media presence is because you're not reaching out enough or you're not producing enough content. So that's one way. Do you have any more questions on social media or stuff? You should invest in some writing courses. Dylan, you don't like my handwriting, my man? Consistent interaction. Snapchat. You want my Snapchat? I'm putting my Snapchat up. I'll write that big because Dylan said that I need to invest in some writing courses. That was actually pretty funny. Snapchat is Andrew Cop 1. Andrew Cop 1. We're gonna open up the 67 steps. I'll open that up in about 20 minutes or so. But that's my Snapchat, Andrew Cop 1. COPP1. That's my Snapchat. Now let me answer some more questions. Let me see. Can you write a little bit bigger? Let's see what other people are saying. I look like a rapper. That's funny. Oregon. Great talk, mate. I appreciate you. Let me get some questions in there. It's small writing. Andrew Cop 1. That's the Snapchat. Such nuggets of business wisdom from a young man. Thanks for sharing. Hey, man, I'm just telling you practical stuff on how to grow your social media, man. That's all I'm trying to do. Go large. How much time does he put in, man? Tom puts in a lot of work. Now he's in a tripwire for sharing economy. Let me get some more questions. Do you have tips on making the most out of conferences and retreats? Yes, conferences and retreats. How I would do that is, what I would do is try. I think the saying in this is, though that person who acts first loses, right? So when you go to a conference, you go to a retreat, try to give to the point where somebody's asking you what your information is. That's how you win, right? Because a lot of people, you get 5 business cards, you get 10 business cards, you hit somebody up the next day, they forget who you are, they don't care about you. But if you go to a conference and you give, right? So especially like if you go to a health conference and you're in the health industry and you know about health, go around telling people what they should do in their business to grow their business for free. So they ask you for your stuff, and then that way they'll remember you, and then when you do hit them up, they'll respond. So I would go to a conference, especially in my industry. I would give as much value as I can, so that way people can ask me, and people can ask me for my stuff, right? And that's the easiest way, right? Ty was saying yesterday, sell to the people who are willing, right? So if you're giving so much information that people want your stuff and that they're willing to ask you, then that's how you build a relationship. And if it's a conference that's not necessarily in your industry, I would just vibe with people. Ask them, really, that's when social skills, right? Ty always says, social skills is kind of the number one tool that you need to be rich and successful, because you need to be able to vibe with people. When Ty was out here with Mark Cuban, he wasn't just asking them, hey, what's your net worth, or hey, can you teach me how to run my business? No, they shot basketball, they had fun, and they did that. So, and if it's in your industry and you have a knowledgeable base in that industry, give value to the point where people are asking you. If it's not so much your industry, then go ahead, vibe with people and care. I think once you care about people and you're generally interested and you try to offer value, but for the most part, offer value, and that's how you should network at retreats. I know a lot of your questions I didn't see, so just put them back in here. I started a welding and fabrication company. Dang, that's awesome, Does. That's really awesome, man. Andrew, my man, I'm going to hit you up later with some questions. I got work right now. Here, Snapchat, Andrew Cop1, COPP1, Andrew COPP1. And I'll definitely answer. Yo, if you Snapchat me, I definitely answer. I did a talk like 2 weeks ago, and I try to answer everybody. I appreciate you, man. A lot of help. It's going crazy? Man, I appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, man, hit me up with some questions, man. What do you think about Gary Vaynerchuk? I love Gary Vaynerchuk. Actually, when I was telling the story, yeah, he was here the other day. Him and Ty actually did a video that's going to be on the accelerator soon. Those between Ty and Gary, those are my 2 favorite people. And actually, when I dropped out and I found out marketing was my passion, I was like, I'm either going to work for Ty or Gary. Gary's business is a little bit bigger, so, that wasn't, I had to go through a lot more red tape, and I ended up working with Ty, who was amazing. And I think it was actually for the better, because I would have more interaction here with Ty than I would have ever with Gary. But as far as marketing, man, the guy's real practical. And let's look at Gary's business model, right? And this is what yeah, for sure. For me? Right, so here's Gary's his business model, right? So we looked at brand equity, right? Gary's somebody who builds a lot of brand equity. So he comes out with a book every 2 years. He comes out with a book, right? The first one was Crush It. Second one was Thank You Economy. Third one was Jab Jab Right Hook, and now he's coming out with Ask Gary V. So what does he do in those 2 years between each book, right? He has something called the Ask Gary V show, right? And he's on like episode 180 something. So for the 2 years, he just provided value from a show, Ask Gary V, right? That's a YouTube show. He blogs on his website. He does Medium. He goes on people's podcasts, right? So for 2 years straight, he gave value. He just gave value. He gave you tips that you need to run your business, everything, right? He goes to conferences. He gives advice, free. And then 2 years, right, when he's kind of promoting his book right now, then 2 years later, he asks you to buy, right? So a lot of you guys, that's a business model you should take is build the brand equity. Give, 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 right? Ty has so many videos on YouTube that's free that dramatically changes people's life that when he asks for the $9.97 on the accelerator that people are pretty much running to buy it because he gave, right? So that's what I think about Gary Vaynerchuk. Smart businessman. As far as his beliefs, the biggest difference between him and Ty is that Ty is more Gary doesn't read as much. But he gets his value from people. Like, he gets his knowledge from people. But, they're both great. Yeah. What do? I work for Ty's marketing department. I head his marketing department. That's what I do. Andrew, can I boost my brand business? What do you at, D? What's the elements of brand equity? Brand equity, to have brand equity, right? And this is all subjective. But brand equity, the most important things you need about brand equity is experience, right? Experience in what you do, right? You need to be knowledgeable. I can't spell. I do need to invest in some. So you need to have experience in the thing that you're doing. You need to be knowledgeable about it. And then you need to be a content creator. Right? What's the old saying? If a tree falls in the middle of the woods and nobody's there to hear it, did it really fall? And Ty always says the answer is who cares, right? So to build brand equity, to build yourself and your business and your brand to the point where people want to buy from you, you need to have experience in it, because experience will give you the knowledge, and then the knowledge will give you the content to create. So that's how you build the brand equity. And again, that's what Ty does, right? Ty does YouTube videos, and then he sells. Gary Vaynerchuk does 2 years of providing value, and then he sells. So any Facebook marketing hack? How can we reach you? Snapchat, Andrew Cop 1. Andrew Cop 1. That's my Snapchat. If you want to reach me, any Facebook marketing hacks, man, Facebook is really easy to run, and that's one of the things I've learned from working with Ty. Is a lot of people get paralyzed, like, oh, I don't know how to run dark posts, I don't know how to run Facebook ads, or I don't know how to do Instagram ads. Running Instagram ads is easy, and one thing I learned from Ty, I swear to God, I've seen Ty not know how to do something. He sat in front of a computer and figured it out in like 7 minutes just by clicking every button. But it's not the Facebook marketing hacks or the actual technical things you need to know about how to, like, that's easy, how to run a Facebook ad that reaches your audience and reaches this person's, follow. That's so much easy. All you have to do is click every button, you'll find it out. But what's going to be hard is, do you know the psychology of those people, and do you know what buttons and what triggers to push to get them to buy? That's the hard part. But as far as hacks, what you can do, if you have enough money, is you can actually run ads to an educational video. That way, right? So you're running ads. You're paying for people to watch educational video, right? You're not asking nothing. You're not selling nothing. I think that's a underplayed marketing hack, is paying to teach people, right? Paying to offer value. Because I think in the long term value of that customer is going to be huge, right? So if you pay and somebody clicks the video and they watch and they're educated, they're going to go Google your name. They're going to want more. Right? And I'm not saying pay for educational video and not have, a way that you could get the information. You obviously want a way to capture their email and things like that. But I guess a marketing hack would be paid to educate people, and don't always ask. I think that's something you could do. Let me get some more. You're on fire. Hey, guys, on Facebook, I'm not sure if the questions get maxed out, but if you want to ask questions, just hop on. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm getting some heavy Q&A, guys, so definitely ask questions. Go on the website. Go on Periscope. Facebook, go on Periscope to ask me a question. Okay, cool. Do I have any strategies to grow weed? I don't think that's from my talk, but you're on fire. I appreciate that, my man. Add me on Snapchat, Andrew Cop 1. Wow, my fucking handwriting is terrible today. I swear I write neat. I swear I write neat, guys. Snapchat. Ask me some questions. And don't ask me questions when my back is turned. And if you do ask me questions when my back is turned, copy and paste it when I turn around. Because a lot of you people are writing questions and then I don't see it, and then it gets lost in the abyss. Andrew. Oh, my God. Andrew. Cop 1. That's my Snapchat. Cool. Do I have any advice on how not to be single? This is not a dating, but I will give you advice on how to not to be single. From my experience, man, girls, women, now it depends how old you are, because if you're in college, it's a different approach than if you were in the real world. In college, you kind of have to be in the loop. You have to be at the parties. But status, man, status is the number one way to get girls. Of course, on top of, having, being a likable person, knowing when to give compliments, knowing when to be funny. Like, that's the type of stuff you need to know. But status, because, man, the fact that I live in West Hollywood and then I could actually talk to a girl and help, man, you don't know how women find it sexy if you could help them with their goals, right? So if a woman talks to you about something that she wants to do in life, like I could do this because just of where I'm at, right? I grew up in a project, I came from nothing. The fact I came to West Hollywood, a lot women find that attractive about me. The fact that I was able to go from the hood to West Hollywood off my own, my own doing. But when I talk to a woman, right? First of all, when I talk to a woman, I try to make it. I don't talk about myself. The worst thing you could do is go on a date and blabber about yourself, right? So marketing and getting girls is so much like it's so similar, right? So I go on a date, I try to listen, right, and I'm listening to her. Then I'm giving her advice on what she wants to do. I'm providing value, right? And then I give compliments, providing value, making her feel good. So really, man, how not to be single. And I want to take it from this way, right? The fact that you asked me that question, I think that's the reason why you are single, because you're longing for a relationship and you're probably needy. So that turns somebody off. So I would definitely switch that approach. The fact that you asked me how not to be single makes me think that when you're around a girl, you're so desperate to be with her that you kind of turn her off. Man, let this shit come to you, dog. Just like anything. Let it come to you. But I think a few hacks I would do in dating is listen, man. Listen and offer the woman some help and definitely make her feel good. Do you think Google AdWords is effective? Yeah, Google AdWords is extremely effective, especially, I mean, if you're using it for Google, like if you're in a necessity type of business, I think it's a very, like plumbing, right? Things that people are going to go to Google to search. It's kind of hard for like thought leaders, right? So if you're a plumbing, I would definitely be on Google AdWords. If you're a computer fixing company, I'd definitely be on AdWords. If you're, one of those type of things where people are just it doesn't really matter who's doing it, but I need it done type of businesses, Google AdWords is extremely effective. And then there's other stuff you could do like YouTube marketing, and then that's for more of the service businesses, right? So if I was creating ebooks on health, I probably wouldn't try to rank on Google. I would try to do YouTube advertisement and do it that way. But man, yeah, so it is effective. And long story short. Okay, let me get some more questions in here. How big are sales funnels in your marketing campaign? Are you a single educated guy? What's the cheapest way to add value and get feedback, man? The cheapest way to add value and get feedback is to, man, if you get somebody's email address, man, and then you reach out to them and say, hey, can I call you? Or can we do a Skype call? Can we do a FaceTime? Or can we do a Google Hangout? And, that way I could just see how I can serve you. I think the cheapest way to add value is to, number one, be knowledgeable in your business, have experience, right? So if you're knowledgeable and experienced, people are going to want to know what you know to get where you're at. So producing content, YouTube videos, blog posts, tweets, Facebook. So the adding value is just a matter of putting out content. Sometimes you're gonna have to pay to put it in front of people. Sometimes you're gonna have to go and leverage other people's, right? So Gary Vaynerchuk, right? So he's promoting his book, right? He came to Ty to promote the book. He went to Grant Cardone to promote the book. He's going on other people's podcasts to leverage their audience. So produce content. That's how you give value, right? Content and context, right? So what I say before, how do you set yourself apart on social media? Add context to what you're saying, right? So don't only create technical content. Okay, you need to do this, that, and the third to get this, but tell your story, show your personality. So create content around the context of who you are. That's providing value. And then to get quick feedback is make sure you're looking at your comments. Make sure you're responding to people. I mean, the amount of people I see not respond to people on their blog, not respond to people on their YouTube, not respond to tweets is ridiculous. So just listen, man. Just listen. You'll be able to get feedback. Last economy business. Any advice? Marketing trip also, you're about to launch one of those like ecom business. I think the Liz talk that she did 2 days ago is I think she knows more about ecom than I do because she's in the ecom business. But what she does is she does giveaways. So try that. Do giveaways, right? So give people your product first. That's how she ranks. She gives the product away first, and then you could get testimonials, and then testimonials will be able to do good. How do you? I'm 21. How did you meet Ty? I worked for him, and then I met him. And it's funny because I'm gonna tell you about the accelerator. I'll tell you my story. I'm just gonna answer a few more questions before. How often should you upload on Facebook? Now that's a great question, and you should definitely be in the accelerator because it's different for everybody. Now Willie Rex is the YouTube gamer, right? So he uploads stuff to Facebook every day. Sometimes he does 3 videos a day. But then you have guys like I'm not sure if you ever heard of Mimi Icon, but she has a husband called Alex, and Alex just does a video every Monday. So half of it is, okay, how much content can you produce, right? So I mean I don't know how much you know. I don't know how much time you have. So it's different for everybody. So Ty does pretty much a YouTube video every day, every other day. He does Instagram pictures every day. He does Facebook every day, but he has a lifestyle business. But then Gary Vaynerchuk, he runs a agency, so he doesn't have as much time. So half of it is how much time do you have versus how much do you know? Because if you don't know that much, you can't produce that much content. If you don't have that much time, you can't produce that much content. So I think the answer to how much you should upload to Facebook is, number one, how much time do you have? How much do you know? And then you should see what works for you. But then once you find out what works for you, stick to it. And I think the consistency is more important than how much you should upload to YouTube. Because once you find your stride, you could just stick to it. Whether it's once a week, once a day, twice a week. Just find something that works for you and then stick to it. I think that's what's most important. So if you're not getting the results that you want, produce more content. But then once you start getting the results that you want, then stick to it. Book recommendation, TyLopez.com/books. That's all the book recommendation. I mean, I would definitely just use Ty's book list. Great presence and content. How old are you? Do you have any questions on the website, Maddie? Can you explain click rate with Facebook ads? What do you want to know about that? How to create viral content. Oh, it's cool. I'm actually Ryan Holiday is in the accelerator, and he is extremely good on how to create viral content. He kind of did the American Apparel campaign with the porn star who was naked but had the socks on and she was promoting American Apparel. I think the way to create viral content is what Ty says, right? The only way to create content that resonates with somebody is it either has to be educational, right? It has to be emotional, and what I mean by emotional, either has to make you laugh or make you cry. Or it has to be novel, right? It has to be like, oh, wow, I've never seen that before, right? So you have the porn star with no clothes on promoting a corporate company. I've never seen that. Many people have never seen that before. But then you have, right, there was one marketing campaign where there was like a hawk that flew down and picked up a baby. And it was fake, but you never seen that before. So to create viral content, it needs to be educational, it needs to be emotional, or it needs to be novel or new. But then the flip side to that is not only does it need to be educational, emotional, and novel, and I say or, because it doesn't have to be necessarily all three. But then you have to realize how do you manipulate the media, right? Now, what a lot of you guys don't know is that bloggers are running stuff, right? The newspaper. And I think the next time I'm on here, I'm gonna do a short talk and I'm gonna do Q&A. I need to work on my keynote a little bit. I need to work on that. But anyway, how do you manipulate the media? Blogs, right? Bloggers need, right? We talking about content, right? How do bloggers get money? Through advertisement. How do advertisers come to bloggers? They offer value. how do bloggers offer value? They need stories. So if you're a business, if you're trying to get more buzz around your product, know how to manipulate the media. Know how to pitch bloggers your.
Hey, Cop, have you read Trust Me, I'm Lying by Ryan Holiday?
I have not, but I read Growth Hacker and I'm taking his course.
That
So I
book
think
basically entails about how he used the media to manipulate blogs and everything else. So it's
exactly.
pretty
So
cool.
like what he's saying in the course that it's kind of like Trust Me, I'm Lying. I think that's the book that he based the course around. Man, bloggers are people just like you too, and they need stories. So how do you pitch your story to a blogger so they can pick it up and run with it? Right? He does all stuff. He creates fake email addresses and then emails bloggers about a story. Right? So he's like, from a fake email address, oh, did you see the story about this company and what they're doing is so interesting? And the blogger goes ahead and like, oh, wow. So if people are hitting me up about this story, then I'm going to take it. So how do you manipulate the media? All right, so step one to creating viral content, it has to be educational, it has to be emotional, it has to be novel. But then step two is, okay, how do you set up yourself, right? So how do you, whether it's press releases or doing something controversial, right? Ty said the other day, I'm not sure if he follows Twitter, he said Kanye West leverages controversy to be relevant. Don't be scared to be controversial. Now, there's always a time and place to be controversial, right? So if you're running a church or something or a non-for-profit school, you don't want to have porn stars advertising your stuff, but don't be scared to be controversial because a lot of people react to that, right? We have World Star. What's the most viral stuff on Facebook? Fight videos. Don't be scared to be controversial. So that's how you produce viral content. Let's get some more questions on there. Where am I from? I'm from Staten Island, New York. How to avoid... How do I find what would be a good job for me? I'm not sure what my passion is. Experiment. Okay. Oh man. Somebody. Oh man. That's crazy. You know I'm gonna have to go with Drake, even though Wu-Tang is where I'm from. It's funny because Wu-Tang is actually from Staten. I think the only reason why Staten Island is known is because of Wu-Tang. But I'm still going with Drizzy. Anyway. Yeah. So if I were you and you're young and you don't know what to do, like I said, I already answered this question. Ask your friends what you're good at. You figure out what do you like. And then once you have your answers right, what are you good at? What do you like? And then start either get a job in that industry, volunteer for that industry. If you're young, you're probably not going to be able to get a job. So just volunteer. See if you like it or not. And then once you figure out what you do like, right? Because I'll tell you one thing, right? So let me approach this from a different angle. Find out what you don't like, and then you'll be left with what you like. And then once you find out what you like, by crossing out other stuff that you hate, get books, buy courses in that, and go all in on that. So that's what I would do. It's part of part of his personality. What are you talking about there, James? Reverse engineer. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Jamar. I'm a writer. Have been writing for years now in the form of spoken word poetry, and I really like to make a career out of it. But I'm not sure how to sell my words in that form, so I want to get into copywriting, but I have no portfolio. What do you suggest I get started? Yeah, I for that person, what I would do, number one, I would definitely make sure that you have a day job, and let's be practical about this, right? A lot of people, you don't have to jump into entrepreneurship with both feet, right? You could do stuff from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. You could do stuff from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. You don't have to just burn the boats all the time. Now, there'll come a point where you do have to burn the boats, and that's reasonable. But if you're just starting out, definitely make sure that you have a means of living. Therefore, you can support what you're doing. Because like I said, right, a lot of people worry about automation, but in order to get to automation, you're going to have to put out money to see what works. You're going to have to experiment on Facebook and run Facebook ads. You're going to have to run Instagram ads. You're going to have to put out money to see what works. And then once you find out what works, then you could begin to start automating. So if I'm a writer writing spoken word poetry, I really like to make it creative. I'm not sure how to sell my words in that form. Man, I mean, I don't think you're being creative enough. I have a friend who's into like spoken word poetry. He goes to a lot of bars and like a lot of stuff like that where he kind of does this poetry. Are you recording it? Are you putting it on YouTube? And I think a business model I would do with that is what I would do is I would put a lot of spoken word poetry out that people would like, And then once people start liking your stuff, then I'll do coaching around it. I think that's the way you can make money around it. Yeah.
So he says he wants to get into copywriting, and we're recording some accelerators with a copywriter.
Yeah.
So definitely check those
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
when they
yeah,
go
definitely.
live.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna open the accelerator in about set a timer for 10 minutes, and I'll begin the accelerator. Yeah, so we're gonna have a copywriter in the accelerator who actually taught the marketing department and the publishing department some copywriting tips. So definitely getting the accelerator for that. But I once heard, man, once you know how to write, you'll never go broke.
What do you think about doing it on Periscope, like him popping Periscope open, and like him doing spoken word poetry on Periscope?
Yeah. Do it on Periscope. Do it on Meerkat. I mean, look. Ty has this damn tripod thing I've never seen before. I didn't even think you could put 3 phones on a damn tripod before. But put out the content, right? You're never gonna make money unless people know about you. But dog, do some spoken word. The only way you could do that is if you do stuff on video. You're gonna have to be a video person, and you're gonna have to probably be. You could probably do some audio if you do video and do audio. So what I would do is I would open up a SoundCloud. I'd open up a Musical.ly. I open up a YouTube, right? And I put it on those platforms, and then I'd reach out to other spoken word people, right? So I'd go to spoken word events. I'd meet spoken word people. Be a part of the community. Go to where they are. Meet some friends. Put your stuff out in front of other people. And if people like your stuff, you can teach other people how to do spoken word. I mean, that's you're not the only spoken word person. I'm sure a lot of people would like to get better at it. So become an expert, do some coaching. That's one way I would see about it. Show me if there's any other questions on the website. Great talk, Andrew. I appreciate it. Make sure you follow me on Snapchat, Andrew Cop 1. Okay, I'll do it this way. There we go. Andrew Cop 1. I like you, man. I follow you on Twitter and Snapchat. Appreciate you, my dog. Songwriting business. Oh, man. Songwriting business? I think for you, for a songwriting business, that's more, you're going to have to network a lot more than that as far as meeting artists, and they're going to have to put out content, right? So the only way that somebody, I would think, and I'm not a music artist, but I would imagine just by, being a business person, the only way somebody would seek you as a songwriter is if they hear a song that they like, and then you're more of a word of mouth business. So I would definitely create relationships with artists. Therefore, they could put out good songs, and then people could kind of get referred to you. Andrew, how can we visit Now Music Club first time this April? Man, you should. A great way to visit the Now Society is we have a retreat coming up. March 1st, March 2nd. That would have been a great way to meet the Now Society. But you come to one of our events. That's a great way to meet. Thanks a lot. No problem. Any example of media manipulation, man? Oh, man. Ryan Holiday actually did a talk in the accelerator. I'm going to open that in like 8 minutes. So you could he'll teach you all you need to know about media manipulation. How important is following the current political environment to business? It's fairly important. It's give or take. If you're an investor, then some politics, it depends what you want, right? So in one sense, it doesn't matter at all, and in another sense, it matters a lot because if you're on Wall Street, whether you have a Republican or a Democrat, means a lot. Look at 2008 and look at what happened after 2008. So in that industry, it means a lot, but then in other industries, it's not going to mean too much. So that's that. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, whether it's a Republican or Democrat in the office, you're still going to have to fucking create the content. So nobody's going to create the content for you. So it matters and it doesn't. We're rivals. St. John. No, I didn't go to Seton Hall. I went to Seton Hill. Seton Hill's definitely a totally different school, but appreciate it. Yeah, there was 2 questions above it. What do you know about the food truck industry? I'm considering buying one. I mark it out. Okay, so if you're in the food truck industry, I don't know too much about the culinary industry, although I am from New York, so there's a lot of halal trucks and stuff like that. Why can't you rent one first? Why would you buy a food truck if you don't know how the industry is and then be stuck with that? I would see if I could rent one and see how that is. But what I would do, I would rent one, and then First of all, if you don't know about the food truck industry, I think you should pause before buying it. I think you should see if there's any other food truck industries in the area because it could be good, it could be bad. There could be no other food truck industries because it's a totally shitty-ass idea and other people have tried it before and they've got out of it. Or it can be an opportunity. So I would see if there's other food trucks. If there's not, I'd try to find out why. And if there is, I would ask the other people, okay, how are you doing? How'd you get into it? And I would try to be a part of the community before I jumped in. And if I still, after talking to people or after realizing that it isn't a good thing to do, I'd rent it first. So definitely don't buy it if you don't know the industry. That's not smart business at all. I would work for someone who owns a food truck. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can work for them. I mean, there's situations where you want to work for people, and there's situations where you don't want to work for people. If you have the money, rent it. If you have the money and the knowledge of the industry already, let's say because your father worked for it or just because you've been following it for 4 years, you could probably skip the job phase and go right ahead into renting it and testing it. So sometimes you could rent, sometimes you could skip it. Questions. How do you become better at networking? Sometimes you just gotta fucking do it. Sometimes the only way to get it's like reading books, right? Sometimes reading books could help me in direction, but it can't make me skip some growing pains, right? Sometimes you just have to do it. So I would read marketing books. But at the end of the day, it's experimenting. Okay, if I went up to 5 people and I started my sentence saying this and this didn't work, okay, I'm not going to do that again. So it's doing it and then it's being self-aware of what's not working. So yes, I'm a big fan of getting knowledge. Sport injury. Actually, my best friend, he wants to become an athletic trainer. As far as the industry itself, I'm not too familiar on the industry. But I mean, I know let's think about it. Athletic training. What can you do? You could work for basketball teams. You could work for football teams. You could work in a high school. Sports injury. Sports is huge. So there's always going to be industries, and it's just like any other business, right? I know I'm from Staten Island. There's something called 101. I know I got hurt playing football, and my back was hurting. I went there, right? So I mean, you're always gonna have clients in sports industry. So just make sure that you're passionate about it. That's a lot of anatomy. I know I failed that class. Needs, how do you use it? I know of Maslow's hierarchy of needs as far as like shelter and stuff. I don't really think about it. Medical industry, man. How do you? Oh my God. I think I was reading the other day that I think there's something like doctors.com or whatever. Like a lot of people search to diagnose themselves as opposed to going to the doctors. So medical industry is huge. You have to be an expert. Like, it's just like anything else, right? You have to produce the content. You have to get in front of people. You have to provide. People all the time are tweeting about things that's hurting them. And listen to this. There's a lot of people who are embarrassed about some of the medical needs, right? Whether I'm not going to get too vocal in here, but private parts are hurting or they're in pain. A lot of people are not going to talk about that. So what they're going to do? They're going to go research it, right? So I think for medical issues, SEO is important. I think that would be great because a lot of people are going to Google, okay, this is hurting or what's that? So I think Google AdWords and SEO is important for medical because that's a great that's a great thing that people are going to do. So, and again, content it's no different, right? 2 biggest platforms for social media is Google and YouTube. If I have a problem with my health, I'm probably going to research it. And when people are researching, you're getting eyeballs. So make sure you're putting out a lot of content, right? And make sure you're engaging as well because if my video has 50,000 hits on YouTube for what to do when my head hurts, then that's going to be a lot of traffic to my site. So I would definitely do a lot of that. How can you distinguish the difference between too much friction to fold or push forward? That's a great question. How do I think of too much friction between to fold or push forward? Okay. Ty always talks about what the book. Do you guys know the book? It was number 1 for a long time. Peter Drucker. Peter Drucker was the book. Peter Drucker always says. Peter Drucker, the author. So Peter Drucker always said you have 18 months, right? 18 months is a way that you can managing oneself. Peter Drucker is amazing. So Peter Drucker always said that 18 months is where you should kind of measure your goals. Now, a lot of people are too impatient. A lot of people are just not good at what they're doing. So a good way to determine whether or not it's too much friction or you should fold or you should go forward is number 1, do the due diligence before you go into something, right? So if you took the time to say, okay, this is my passion, this is what I'm good at, and then you go into it, you're already going to have the mindset that it's just, you just have to push through it. So another one way to know it's just something you need to push through is to make sure it's something that you're good at before you go into it. But, you know, if it's month 3 and you're not having the results that you had, you're probably not patient enough. But if it's 2 years after you started and you're still at, you know, square one, then it's probably time to fold. So I think the answer to that is just timing. You need to be patient, and you need to, be patient, man. If it's just common sense. If it's 2 years after you started and you still have no traction, give it up. But if it's 3 months, then the amount of people who think that they want to, I mean, think about it, right? We're here because we want to build a business around our passion. We want to live the life on our own terms. If you think it's going to happen in 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you're out of your damn mind. So, so let me, I'm going to reset Periscope before we get some more people, and then I'm going to open the accelerator in like 10 minutes. How can I make something like a video to get 50K views, though? Advertising? Again, that goes back to the educational. First of all, it has to be good. So, yes, number one, if advertising is good if you have the money. I think Facebook shut down. Okay. I'm going to answer some more questions, and then I'm going to open up the accelerator. Hey guys, make sure we're resetting Periscope, Facebook. Okay, can you reset Periscope too? That way we get some more. I like the guy fixing the. Somebody said they like the guy fixing the camera. Relaxing. Why you decided to drop out of college? I mean, like I decided to drop out. Number one, I was in college. I was on football scholarship, so I was lucky that I wasn't paying that much money. Then we went through a coaching change, and I didn't really want to go through that, and I didn't want to be in school because what I wanted to do was in like marketing and copywriting. And you think about it like this, in marketing, in college, what are they teaching? They're teaching like fucking billboards and magazines and stuff. So a lot of employers don't take marketing degrees too seriously. So for the field I wanted to go in, it wasn't a necessity. Now, if I wanted to be a doctor, me dropping out would have probably been the dumbest thing I could have did. Yeah. So can we reset Periscope real quick, or just to get the numbers up, and then I'm gonna open the accelerator.
So within the website here, we have a question on what did you start within Nick Accelerator?
What did I start? What do you mean? What did I start?
What did you start with within the accelerator?
Oh, okay. So I started with the 67 steps. That was number one, and then I went to accelerator. So I was in the money and entrepreneurship program first. And I kind of rotated that. I did one video entrepreneurship, one video money. And then I went to the persuasion program once I got the marketing job. I don't know if you were there for that part of the story. So I was kind of in all three, and I was just rotating it. And Ty loves that. He likes being an eclectic learner. So I started with all the videos. I just rotated them. What to do if you're antisocial personality disorder and don't want to have anything to do with people at the same time, have a narcissistic personality disorder and need people to admire me? If I was you, I mean, that's an easy question. Why can't you do stuff behind the computer? You could do a lot of animated videos. You could do a lot of stuff with voiceovers. I mean, I don't know what you're good at, so I don't really know what you should go in. So the question applies to you, the antisocial personality disorder. Figure out what you're good at. What talent do you have that would make people want to listen to you, right? So what are people going to admire you for? And then just do stuff behind the scenes. But it's going to be pretty hard for you to build that empire that you want and build the business that you want if you don't know how to work with people, because eventually you're going to need a team, right? So Ty is in San Diego right now at his grandmother's birthday party, 98th birthday party, and he has a team doing the call for him. So I would definitely be a little bit wary of you if you say you have a personality disorder where you can't work with people. Be careful of that because you need people if you want to automate your business. But don't be. Andrew is the homie. What's good, Dougie? Dudes are grinding. Yeah, look at some more questions. I'm open accelerator in 5 minutes. 0 to 100 real quick. What's good? Shout out Nathan. Where's Ty? Hey Drew, it's Nick. What's good? It's Drake. Why is everyone asking about Ty? It's about the knowledge. I feel you. Dougie, what's up? I'm from Staten Island too. Creating knowledge. Knowledge soldiers, yes. I might win over those CRS. What's your background? I actually work with Ty in the marketing department. Him and his brother Ben. We kind of head up Ty's marketing. So marketing questions, definitely ask me my field, but I don't know which method to distribute my knowledge. Tips. What do you mean you don't know which method to distribute knowledge? What I would do is I would figure out who's in your field, what social media platforms they're using, and kind of model them. That's why market research is important, because a lot of people have figured out the blueprint before you. You just need to kind of put in your own context and then kind of mimic what they're doing. What would your ADL self say to you now? Good stuff, I guess. I don't know. I haven't thought about that question. One tip on how much do you make? Knowledge and chill, boy. I feel you. Cool. You're my hero. I appreciate you. Y'all need a photographer. What's up? This is Wild from VA. What's up, Wild? What are your thoughts on Kickstarter? Kickstarter is good, man. These social media platforms, especially ones crowdfunding, man, use them. Hello, yo, Adrian. Mindset, abundance, no scarcity. Yep. How important is price in the marketing process? Price is important because you're gonna have to spend money to see what works, right? We have a video with Neil Patel in the accelerator. He says that the first thing you should do if you're starting a business, you should try all the media platforms, do experiments, spend a little bit, and then see what works, and then go in. So in the beginning, money is important because you're gonna have to spend it to get it back. Great talk, my brother. NY is in here. I feel you. What's the ROI of Instagram? ROI of Instagram is the ROI of anything you're good at. If you play basketball and you're LeBron James, the ROI of a basketball is everything. If you're Elton John, the ROI of a piano is everything. So the ROI of Instagram is how you make it. How is the content that you're producing good, or you're reaching out to people. So how much do you make seriously, man? Why are you worried about my pockets? What did Jay-Z said? Why you worried about my pockets? Meanwhile, I got Oprah chilling in the projects, man. Don't worry about my pockets, dog. The crazy during Warriors, Clippers, here in my garage, Knowledge Society. You went to Seton Hill? No, I went to Seton Hill, not Seton Hall. What platforms do you manage, push your content marketing? Ty's on all platforms. You know, he's on Instagram, he's on Twitter, he's on Facebook, he's on all that stuff. So, yeah, that's pretty soon. Best book on marketing. Man, I think our accelerator is the best stuff on marketing just because it's so up to date. You can read Ogilvy's book on advertising, but how many of us are doing billboards and stuff? So I think when it comes to marketing, you need to kind of stay on the cutting edge of what people are doing now. Now, there's some stuff that carries over as far as the religion, caring, giving value, and you can learn that by reading any marketing book. But as far as the best stuff on marketing, that's a little dab for the cam. The best stuff on marketing is kind of the stuff that's working right now. So that's why, marketing degrees are kind of just, it is what it is on marketing degrees. Yeah.
So you guys on Facebook here or Periscope here, if you're having trouble reading the board and if it's a little mirrored and it's hard to read, you can head to tylopez.com. We have a stream up and you can really see the whiteboard nice and clear if you do want to, check it out and take notes from it. So just giving you guys a heads up. Thank you.
Hey, it's the guy who said, well, Ty makes a lot, and I head Ty's marketing department, so that's bad logic. You think Ty will play me with basketball for a free membership? Good luck getting in the house. I think you have to. No, I don't think he's gonna play you for a free membership, but that's a good try. Maybe he will. I don't know. Who are your mentors? Ty is a mentor of mine. Absolutely. I've learned a lot of things that I'm doing now from marketing. I'm 21 years old, sir. How do you get to know Ty and his crew? I hustled, man. I went through all Ty's accelerators. I made stuff happen when I was in the accelerator. Gave a testimonial, and they, that's that. What's your name? Andrew Kopp, COPP. Are you Drake's brother? I really appreciate that compliment. Balance between idea and trust rapport versus actual persuasion. Man, when it comes to sales, man, you never really. It's hard to sell to people who aren't willing to buy what you have. So I think the building rapport and giving value is important, but man, if somebody's not interested, you're pretty much, you're better off just closing the meeting, wrapping up, going about your way. So I think the rapport and the giving value is important, because once they're willing to listen to you, then you can actually sell to them. When somebody is not willing, it's hard to sell to them. The one habit that I have, I wake up at 4:30. I go to the gym. And yeah, I think the gym and fitness carries over to any other point in your life. And I think the disciplines that you keep, I would say it's 4:30 going to the gym. Dope things. Do you like Shark Tank? Shark Tank is cool, but you don't really, get the full story of everything. It's entertainment. It's better than watching SpongeBob, but you want to get the full stories. But it's cool.